The smoke in my lungs, you got me feeling so numb. Oh, all I felt was you. I was out of my mind, you were killing me inside. Yeah, I know the truth. I know it's that I think of you, I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lose myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two. You I cannot replace, memories cannot erase. No, I don't know how to. What we started for fun got me feeling so numb. I feel just like a fool. I know it's that I think of you, I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lost myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two. If I was a bad guy, I would've left you hanging by a thread. If it was the first time, I would've held long onto the edge. If I could have.
There we go. I clicked on the wrong scene there. But we're back. This is our Tournament 2 playoffs here at State Champs for League of Legends. We have Seaholm versus Northville JV. I'm joined by Mike. Yeah, ready to get this started.
Yeah. This should be. I think this should be a pretty good game here. If I recall, I believe didn't Seaholm have a little bit of trouble against these guys in the past?
So this is actually their JV team for Northville. So, um, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem, but excited to see what happens. I'm actually gonna walk away right now. I'm gonna pass over the pro draft casting to Mike because I'm gonna get some water to stay hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated for these epic casts that are coming up. So I'll be right back, and Mike will take over.
All right, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna see a banning out a couple top lane champions here with the Urgot, and then two AD carries coming down. Both Kaisa and Jin. Seaholm are banning away. Both Kaisa and Jin are extremely strong in the bot lane right now, so it makes a lot of sense. And of course, we have Kaiser's Rengar being banned out over on the Northville JV side. Also banning away the top lane Volibear, which we've seen again and again to be a very strong pick for Seaholm. So that's definitely a strong ban as well. And something to note that this game is Seaholm is actually using a mid lane sub this game instead of their normal pick. So we're going to see the Fizz being banned away instead of something like a Yon or Yasuo. So that's let's see. It's going to be interesting as we go through here. And Seaholm is going to pick up a early top lane pick. This isn't a strategy we normally see them playing around. They usually like to try and counter pick that top lane and save that for second round picks and bans. Opting for a early jungle and bot lane in their first three picks and bans, especially when they're blue side. Really taking advantage of that first pick prio, picking up either sometimes even an early jungler when with Hecarim and Udyr both being open still. And Northville jumps right on that, assuming this is going to be a Nunu in the jungle. Definitely a very strong, definitely strong pick. It can lead to a lot of early game pressure. And the Garen is definitely interesting. It's a very aggressive top lane pick into a Scion. I'm not sure there's gonna be a lot of kill pressure here, especially because that Scion just gets so beefy and so tanky so early. Okay, we see it. And here, just like I was talking about, we see the bot lane being locked in for Seaholm, both the Sivir and the Seraphine. Sivir is a very safe pick here, especially as a lot of their team has not been chosen yet. She will have her spell shield that's going to be able to absorb the Nunu snowball, and that way they can definitely stay a lot safer in the bot lane from those ganks. So that's going to be a very good pick as well.
So we gotta kind of already protect the carry comp going on for Seaholm. Yeah, Seraphine Sivir sounds really strong, annoying. Scales very well. You can't really get on the Sivir, especially with Garen can't really get on that, especially with Sion, and we can see some of the other picks hopefully coming out. Noodle's gonna have trouble, but yeah, I think very strong first 3 picks for Seaholm.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Samira is not a pick that we've been seeing a lot, especially after a lot of her nerfs been coming through, and really in the start of season 11 at all. Samira has not been a very highly contested pick, so I'll be interested to see how it performs today in this bot lane. We'll have to see what the support matchup is going through the draft phase here. We're going to see another jungle ban coming out since they waited. Seaholm has waited until the second round to be picking up their jungler. We're going to see Kaiser going to be trying to be target banned out a little bit here. While Seaholm is going to try and ban away some of these more aggressive support champions, the Rel, they really don't want a Rel diving in. There's rather more squishy bot lane. And I like to see the Hook champion ban. Yep, just like that. You see the Nautilus ban coming out for Seaholm as well. Thresh is still on the table for Northville to pick up if they'd like, or potentially even a Blitzcrank. And then we see a Cinder ban coming out as well.
Yeah. So what I want to see here from Northville is like some kind of way to get on the Sivir. Like you can't really see anything about Seaholm's con because it's only 3 picks, but it's kind of looking a little bit low damage now. Kind of, but you also still have jungle and mid to pick, which can be 2 big damage rolls. So, the Alistar I think is a beautiful pick. It's incredibly hard to spell shield Alistar combo because it's both the W and the Q, which is the knock away and the knock up. So, I think that's a very good pick for Northville. So looks like all they have left is their mid laner to pick. So hopefully some kind of assassin. Looks like they're gonna have to pick a mage here, for their last pick for Northville, and then you see the Olaf. So I feel like this is a common team comp with Seaholm. It's just like a protect the carry slash just run down everyone. You have the Olaf, you have the Sivir, you have the Seraphine, you have the Scion. You just have this dive comp that is so easy to execute, as well as even if you do need to disengage, you have the Sivir, you have the Seraphine peels, which are going to be very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Dive comps are certainly a very strong part of Seaholm's nature. Where is this Morgana going to be going? This is very interesting. They already have the Nunu, which is pretty
Morgana
much
mid, I don't think it's that
into the
bad.
jungle. This can be very precarious against a Diana. Diana, if she's able to get an early kill and start snowballing ahead, especially with a very aggressive jungler like Kaiser, if they are able to get that early kill in the mid lane, Diana should be able to just kill Morgana on repeat. She does have her bindings, which is going to be able to protect her a little bit. But if she misses any of her cooldowns or any of her spell shields on cooldown or that binding, Diana can just dive her off repeat. So that's can be a very risky mid lane if not played correctly.
Yeah, but I think Marvel, like, if a Samir gets fed, like, what's stopping the Samir from just like getting a free ulti off in the fight? Like what? And like really easy CC can you land, right? Like there's nothing. There's no like point and click. There's no like Alistar. There's no Rel. There's no like what do you really have? Like the only stuns really you have are Scion, and I mean Scion has to ult, and I guess if the Samira is able to outplay that and try to stay somewhat back, she can dodge it. So I think it's a protect the carry comp for both teams. Nunu, Garen, Alistar, Morgana are going to be appealing for the Samira as best as they can, and Black Shield on the carry, and Alistar is there for some kind of setup, and the Samira could just absolutely take over the game.
Yeah, certainly. Samira is going to be almost all of Northville's damage into these fights. So yeah, if a dive comp like Seaholm is able to get far enough ahead, this Samira is not going to be having a very good time. The Alistar is going to be able to peel a lot, but you cannot peel an Olaf ult while he's running you down. So this would be very interesting to see, especially how the Olaf is going to be able to handle a Nuno in the jungle. Both have very aggressive and very quick clears, and obviously they both have very strong ganking potential as well. So this gonna be a lot of this game is going to be revolving around these junglers, who's able to get ahead early, and we'll have to see what happens as we go through.
Yeah, so like the counter to Olaf is burst damage because he's kind of one of those champions that drain tanks you. And Northville doesn't have any like real burst damage. They have setup and some kind of team play going for them, but outside of that, um, it doesn't look like they have anything going for them. Like obviously, I think they can peel uh, very well for the Samira outside of Olaf, but yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what this Olaf can put in terms of work, because he's the only real champion that can effectively dive to Samira and run past the front line of Northville. So, uh, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see what this Olaf does.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I mean, we're getting into the game in just a few short minutes. What do you think we're going to see in this early game with both the Morgana and Alistar and Nunu? They have a super strong level 1. If they were to look for an early invade to try and get an early lead, that would be very, very interesting. Although we do have the Scion counter from Seaholm side. If they were to be 5 stacked in a bush and you walk up into a Scion queue, that could be an early ace,
Yeah,
potentially 5-man.
yeah.
You
I
think is
mean,
he a 5 stack, or you think they're gonna try
I
and play a little more
I think
aggressively?
Northville just play it safe. There's no real reason for them to invade. There's like you guys. I mean, you scale faster than Seaholm. Silver takes like 3 items to really be a scary champion. So Samira just Samira just needs components. It's just kind of like Syndra. I honestly, you just need like some components. Just like 1 item and you just kill people. So like once she gets that immortal shield bow, it's like, what else is there? Like, she goes in, she kills people, and then she just has amazing peel. And early game, like, the Silver's not going to be doing much to her. Diana's not going to be really able to one-shot her until Diana gets late game and gets some items, because there's the Black Shield, there's the Alistar there, and then what else left is there, right? There's the Olaf, and Olaf isn't known to really kill. Like, Olaf can trade his life for the Samira, but that usually takes a 3 item Olaf. So, I think it's very much early mid game in Northville's favor, but once it does reach that late game, I think it's going to be very, very scary for Northville. But we are going to take a break, wait out this 2-minute spectator delay, and we'll be right back once that is over.
Telling you to love me, pulling you into my chest. If I knew it was the last time, I wouldn't have said what I said. 'Cause I say goodbye. We let it slide in front of our eyes. We say goodbye. 'Cause I couldn't see clearly. Fog in the headlights holding me back. If I could help it be telling you to let me, pulling you into my chest. If I knew it was the last time, I wouldn't have said what I said. 'Cause I said goodbye. We let it slide under the eyes. We said goodbye. 'Cause I said goodbye. We let it slide under the eyes. We said goodbye. We said goodbye. We say goodbye. We say goodbye. I'm standing on the edge of a cliff. Realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from heaven's end. When we meet tonight, I'm gonna run.
All right, back. Game number 1 of Seaholm versus Northville Varsity. Boom. Feel like we were just here like last week doing some kind of. Well, I guess we kind of were with L2X, but feels like we've been doing finals and playoffs for like the last 3 weeks. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. These are definitely going to be some very exciting games that we're going to be seeing. A little bit of a skirmish going on. Looks like just trying to fight for a little bit of early vision control from the Olaf, getting a very clear ward on his red. So we're going to know exactly where Nuno is going to be looking to start here. Although Olaf is not going to back himself and switch it out for a sweeper.
So real quick,
yeah.
Thoughts on Scion Summoners?
I like this. I like this a lot. So he's clearly not worried about the Garen matchup at all. Having both teleport and ignite is something that we're seeing a lot and a lot more, especially in higher elo gameplay when you're not worried about the flash. What are you gonna be flashing with on Scion? You're not gonna be flashing forward and then trying to get your combo off. You're gonna be running them down with ultimate. Flash is primarily gonna be used defensively, and if you're able to have decent positioning, you're not worried about getting hit or getting caught out, then Flash isn't going to do a whole lot for you, except for in the early game to try and dodge ganks. But in reality, flashing away from a Nunu snowball is not very feasible in most situations.
Yeah, I was just thinking
So
about it as well. Yeah, Nunu Garen, like, what's killing you? Unless you're just taking very, very, very bad trades from the Garen in lane, there's really like no kill pressure. As long as you have somewhat decent vision in river, and you just don't completely let the Nunu walk. Okay, I just let the Nunu completely snowball in on you. There's no real way they can kill you because Garen doesn't have ignite, and Garen isn't classically known for just killing people with burst damage. It's gonna at least need to be level 6 or something, and by then Sion's just gonna be tanky. And as well, I think this is actually a very good lane for Sion. There's not much Garen can do here.
yeah, absolutely. That's certainly just going to be a very strong farm lane in the top lane, which we know that the top laner for Seaholm excels with very, very well. Almost every single game we're seeing an early CS advantage, which scales more and more the later the game goes on. And so I like this matchup for him a lot. He started both biscuits and refillable potion. And so he's going to be able to sit in this top lane for a very long time. And if somehow he does get managed to get forced out, he still has that TB to be able to come back into lane, as well as an ignite for when the Olaf does eventually try and gank him. They can probably, if they're able to chunk out the Garen,
All right, so I have a
potentially dive.
play down here. I was gonna say there's gonna be a play in the river, but it looks like they backed off. Real quick, look at the what do you call it? The scoreboard thing at the bottom. We're missing the supports. What? You see that?
Yeah, that's
I can't fix it. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. We only have 4 players in this game.
I was gonna say there. Oh wait, the supports are showing, but I forgot Morgana was mid. But yeah, going back to this top lane, I think it's really bad for Garen. Like he's already. Okay.
All right, we're gonna see Alistar jumping in here, getting double knock up. This a heal coming down on Seaholm with the ignite from the Alistar, barely surviving there.
So a bit of a miss. I mean, it was really good from Northville's bot lane. As we have another play I'll talk about in a second.
Yep, and there's the ignite going down as well, as we were talking about. An early ignite, the ignite advantage is so big. I'm not sure he needed it there to actually secure that kill, but it certainly helps for a little bit of extra damage. At level 5, it does about 120 or so HP, which is very significant when these HP bars are still low with only you're starting Doran's item. So
Yeah.
that's great, forcing out the TB from the Garen here.
So what I was gonna say is that could have been a kill onto the Sivir. Well, it was two things. I guess this was maybe one thing that I could actually see. The Alistar didn't stun the Sivir with his E. He stunned the Seraphine. So that could have been a kill over onto the Sivir. But I mean, it's still really good. Alistar Seraphine's a very aggressive lane. I think like once the Alistar comes back, they just kind of set up some kind of freeze. Hopefully, I don't think that the Sevir's gonna be. Hopefully, it doesn't look like she's gonna be able to push an answer to tower. But your jungler's bot side, you just got a fresh reset. You have no heal, no exhaust. I think you just they just run it bot and just get free kills there, especially with no vision and no real vision in the river either.
Yep, absolutely. Now we did see that Nunu was on the dragon, although he backed away after Seraphine walked up and was able to drop a ward on that. He did not want to risk that 50-50, even though he does have consume smite combo, which is able to outdamage anything that Olaf is able to put down with his E smite. So an interesting choice for him to back off there, but they're just going to play it safe and try not to throw any kind of advantage they might still have on the bot side of the map by giving up an early dragon. Aside from that, we have, again, like I was saying before, a huge CS lead onto the Scion already in the top lane. We have the tier buy from the Scion. Now
Yeah,
that's
I was gonna note
interesting.
that. I was gonna note that. Like, what is what is that gonna build into? Because I don't think.
I'm not sure if that's a temporary item just to help him with lane here. Well, he can just spam his abilities and harass, because he's gonna have a ton of sustain between that. Now we see a big skirmish going down. The phase rush proc being.
Yeah, I was gonna say
put
like
down.
the very interesting Scion like setup. You got the phase rush, you got the tier, and I'm just like thinking the tier like is it gonna like go AP? No, there's no way or something like that. And I'm like thinking is Manamune like even a possibility? Like you don't really have mana problems with Scion, and I feel like there are just better items to go. Like you have a corrupting pot, so you really don't like need mana in lane. You could just build like a sapphire crystal or something.
Yep, all right, so Garen's gonna try and fight him there, but he's gonna hit that phase rush and then kind of zoom away. No problem there. But no, I mean it's actually interesting if you are able to finish that Muramana over onto Scion. What his passive when he dies and he goes into that Berserker's Rage form, he's gonna be doing a lot of single target damage, which into a relatively squishier comp over on Northville side, that's pretty effective. Now we see the ult coming in. An early kill again, going over to Kaiser. That's gonna be the first 2 kills for Seaholm, going over to their jungler. A ton of gold. Now he is falling behind a little bit in the CS. However, I'm sure he's quite far ahead with 2 kills, picking up some tower plating his top lane as well. They are not letting up in this top lane. This is definitely the point that they want to emphasize in the map. Oh, and we're going to see a counter gank here going down in the mid lane. Diana using her dash over the Morgana, getting out.
Ooh.
Although flashing it, getting hit by the Morgana binding. And she should be going down here under tower.
Autos.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. Not quite able to connect and finish that kill.
Unlucky.
That was very dangerous. If they stepped forward too far there, that would have been a kill over onto the Diana instead, as she would have ulted them under tower. But they just quickly backstepped up there. Now Olaf should just be walking away here.
I think
Garen really wants to try and finish this kill. Olaf's gonna pop ultimate and turn around, go back in. Say, you're a little too aggressive there, pal. Cyan's gonna drop an E to assist with this kill. And Seraphine taking a ton of damage under a tower here. Her flash being forced out there as well.
just played all across the map, but to note the Garen I think is gonna be quite out of the game until like 25 plus minutes. Lost I think 2 waves there under tower. His laner doesn't have any kills but has 3 assists as well as like double his farm. And like I said, all those plates, and it was already such a hard matchup. So Seaholm's topside really abusing this Garen.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're Northville's doing actually a really great job here. With all this top lane pressure, they're getting good compensation on the bot side of the map. Their bot lane is dominating. They're taking advantage of this early lead that they're getting with a lot of their trades that they're going into. And then again, because of that jungle pressure, they're able to secure the first dragon of the game, which is something that Nunu is so good with, being able to clear and take these dragons. We definitely do not want to. Seaholm needs to make sure that they're not falling behind with these dragon pros, and they do not want to get a soul stacked up against them, because it can be very hard to turn a game around after a soul has been given away.
So I think the game plan here for Northville is for Nunu, don't even go top side of the map. There's no reason to, it's kind of like that kind of like solo queue thing. Don't gank a losing lane unless it's just like you absolutely need to help out your top laner. But I think the play is gank bot. Your Samira is like super ahead, and here comes a play. Nunu's in the river.
Big Seraphine ult, charming them both, dragging them back in. Olaf is looking in to dive the Samira, taking her out, although he's taking a lot of damage from that tower. Nunu ult coming down, finishing him off, getting the shutdown over to the Nunu. A lot of gold being exchanged there. Now, Seraphine only gets an assist. I'm sorry, not Seraphine. Samira only gets an assist there. And so she's not going to be getting a lot of that gold. All that gold from that Olaf shutdown went over to the Nunu. Definitely not the ideal source there. However, not much you can do after the Seraphine received Samira received no peel there at all from her team. Alistar was diving in, and because of how aggressive they've been playing, Seaholm was able to anticipate this, and Olaf was sitting in the flanks for the counter gank. Very well played by them.
Yeah, so going back to it, like the game plan is just spam gank bot, right? Like spam gank bot, get your bot lane head, stack dragons, because once this game hits like 20-25 minutes, I mean, you already have a 4-1 Olaf, right? Like Olaf doesn't scale very well, but he's still going to be able to help out his laners immensely. So they need to start stacking some kind of advantage. They have 1 dragon, so hopefully they can get the next 3 dragons, get a very good soul. I'm not sure what the next dragon is, but hopefully I think Ocean Soul is what they want to get. I think, right? You want the Samira, you want your beefy front line to just live. So I think that's their best case. Get the Samira fed, get your tank some gold, especially this Garen. This Garen needs to just like sit back and power farm. Like I said, it's not going to be very useful for the next 20, or I guess maybe like 15-ish, 20 minutes. So, see what's going to happen there. Look like we might have a potential dive here, bot.
We see a little bit of a counter jungling here. Olaf's gonna ult and just try and get out of there as best he can. Seraphine able to supply a little bit of CC there. Diana losing the 1v1 to the Morgana mid lane. That's surprising. A 30 CS advantage for the Diana. Diana must just got a little bit overextended there with her flash being down from all the ganks that have been happening onto her.
Yep. So I was gonna if they were able to pick up the Olaf there and give that kill to the Samira, that could have been pretty good. But I mean, they did get the ulti out, so that's also still pretty good. Really good. Morgana getting a kill there. I think that's also something else you want, because if you don't get your only AP character ahead, um, you just open up this line to just Scion Olaf to just stack armor, and oh look, here your Fed Samira potentially does no damage and can't do anything because their front line is incredibly tanky. So Morgana classically known for peeling, really good in team fights with their ultimate and shredding tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see that the Leandre is being picked up for the Morgana, using a little bit of the gold that she just got from that kill to finish her mythic early, rather than picking up any kind of boots. So she's actually a little bit susceptible to these ganks. We're gonna see a dive coming in here. Fro Seaholm going in at the Alistar, flashing under the tower there. Gonna be picking up a couple extra kills. The first kill going over onto the Sivir there, and the second kill going to the Olaf. All right, we're gonna see a bit of a play trying to pick out this Nunu in the top lane. Dragon here is going to be coming up very shortly as well. We see the Nunu in the top side. Young Kaiser in the bot lane on Olaf, clearing away Nunu's top jungle, which I'm sure he's going to be rotating over to that dragon very shortly as well. Taking away these early dragons, making sure they don't get an early 2-dragon advantage is going to be vital for Seaholm's strategy here to try and make sure that they're not able to scale up in these late game monsters that they are. You do not want to see a Samira going into late game, and we still see Nuno topside just trying to help his Garen get any kind of CS at all. And so that dragon is going to go away completely uncontested.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Nunu just should not go top. Looks like gonna be that's good. 1 for 1. I don't think they're gonna be able to get much. Maybe a little bit of damage on the turret. But going back to this positioning, Nunu should just, like I said, sit bot side. See, if the Nunu was bot side there, they could have potentially saved his bot lane potentially. Even if even the Samira died, maybe they could have sent Nunu, Morgana, and Alistar to just body block or contest Dragon somewhat, because every when you're in game and you're thinking about dragon win cons, every dragon you miss, that's an extra 5 minutes on the clock for a potential win con. And Northville is on the clock here. They have a 6-1 Olaf to deal with. And like I was saying in Champ Select, you can't peel an Olaf with their team comp. The only way to counter an Olaf really is with burst damage, and he's already 2 items, 15 minutes, and he has 2 items that just make it so easy for him to run down the 80 carry. So very, very scary.
Yeah, I do want to talk a minute about the Nunu being topside so much. You have to be very careful when there is this much of a lead, and we're gonna actually see a little bit of fight here really quick in the bot lane. Morgana looks like she might be falling, being forced to flash away, but there is no tower to assist her there. Diana's dash was on cooldown though, so she had to just kind of back away. But like I was saying, with the Nunu in the top side, with Garen being so far ahead, yeah, like we see these towers going down, you have to be very careful not to let too many towers fall for free. There is really nothing Garen can do to stop these towers from falling, as Sion is just so far ahead. With his both corrupting potion and the tier, he's got sustain for days. He is not leaving this lane at any time. It's only whenever he wants to, or when he feels like his mana's running a little bit low. He can free spam all his abilities, stacking his tier and getting more and more mana for the next time he backs and rotates back into lane. He does not have to do anything. He can just perma shove and take these towers down. So it's very dangerous to leave that uncontested, as so many towers will start falling. A lot more gold will be going over. There's a Nuno ult coming down,
Here's
but
the TP.
ending it a little bit early there. TP coming in from the side. He's getting a little bit of move speed from that. He's going to run in, drop it E, slowing the Morgana. Getting Q knock on both of them. One more hit is going to proc his phase rush. Now he's running in. He picks up the kill there. Going to get another knock up onto the Nuno. He is just super tanky. Not even taking any damage from these towers at all. There's a W shield coming through. Almost getting a third knock-up. Not quite able to connect that one, though. Nuno is going to be able to walk away, but he is quite low at half HP. We should see a consume on one of these minions here. Bringing HP back up. He's looking to turn it back around as Garen is flanking back in. A super extended fight. These guys have to be very careful. Seaholm is getting quite low. All right, and we see another fight here in the mid lane. They're just looking to disengage against the Samira Alistar, trying to just kite back the best that they can. Alistar pops his ultimate, and he just tries to keep running forward.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to fight. Seaholm has just been playing very forward and very aggressive, and Northville is doing their best to try and counter and take advantage of this positioning as they're a little bit split.
Seaholm being very, very aggressive here. It almost worked out for them if the Morgana was able to land a binding on that Diana earlier while they were chasing her down, even as the TP came down. That could have been a really good play. More gold for your team. And then, there was the play there with the Seraphine and Sivir, but unfortunately they weren't able to get anything there. It's like, Seaholm is just being so aggressive, and I think maybe a little bit of positional mistakes that Norfolk could potentially capitalize on, but nothing's really happening. So they just somewhat allowed to play aggressive with no no repercussions, no threat of, oh look, we got super aggressive and now we're gonna lose this. They just made an aggressive play and got rewarded for it.
Yeah, so speaking of Seaholm's positioning here, they were 4-manning mid with Diana over in the side lane. So they had to take advantage of their TP cooldowns here. They using the Diana's TP, setting her off into the side lane so she's able to join the fight later. And then rather than having the Scion in the side lane, even though as far ahead as he is no good if he's not in that same lane or without TP up. Right? If he has his ultimate available, he can run really fast, but can be very challenging for Scion to navigate through a jungle quickly. So if he's, in the same lane or even at base, he can ult down a lane and get to the fight very quickly. But that cannot be said if he's in a side lane without TP. So definitely a smart choice by Seaholm sending that Diana over to the side lane instead. We're going to see Scion running top to pick up a little bit of farm. Looks like Nuno is going to be caught out here. See the ult?
Maybe.
Huge knockout from the Alistar jumping in. There's the Olaf ultimate being popped. He's just running in, trying to kill this backline. Just nobody's doing any damage to him. Gore Drinker keeping him very healthy here. We just see a lot of CC. Now Olaf ult running out. Alistar is just trying to run away for his life. Nuno just being caught around here. 3 people. Alistar falling. Morgana falling. Only Garen alive. Triple kill over onto the Olaf. Wow, big plays there.
Yeah, Olaf just did not care. Like I said, there's no threat of him running in. Like he's like, I'm Olaf, I run at you, and what are you gonna be able to do? You can't black shield anything. You can't run away from him because he perma slows you. You have no threat of killing him because he has this much life steal, shielding. Look at his items. He had so many kills and so much gold on him. So very, very scary for Northville.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, that was very dangerous. So we had the Alistar diving in on 3 people, getting a huge knockup, but because the Olaf was able to circle back around and get on top of that Samira in that fight, there was no follow-up damage for the Alistar, unfortunately. So they had to just back off and try and play a little bit safer there, as Alistar was getting hit by 3 members, and Olaf was the same, getting hit by those other 3 members of Northville. She's just tanking and absorbing a ton of damage between the Steric Shield, the Gore Drinker healing, the Conqueror being fully stacked, his passive healing, tons of sustain. And again, we do not see any kind of executioners on these teams. It is one of the biggest mistakes on these teams. If you're playing against a drain tank like Olaf, Seraphine, tons of healing, you need the executioners. You need that healing cut if you ever want to have a chance of healing. And just being forced away, Nuno with his phase rush with the flash, just taking a ton of damage, being forced out away from that Baron. And they're not even looks like they're gonna maybe try and contest here. Olaf getting a little bit low here while tanking. Diana out of mana. This could get a little bit hairy. Nuno is low, however, with consume.
They need to just walk in here.
Yeah, this is gonna be big. A ton of CC coming down. There's the Samira ult. Yeah. That was very risky for Seaholm there. They look like they're going to get wiped out in this pit. They're trying to do as much as they can. Now, Scion is ahead, but he does not do a lot of single target damage right now. He needs to try and get out of there. Already using his ultimate. TP was a little bit late there, not able to join that fight. And he looks like he's just going to get run down. Alistar comboing in, getting the knockup. And yep, that is going to be the shutdown as well. Huge wipe. That is absolutely what we needed to see over at Northville. They need to try and turn and pick up as much as they can from the jungle, totally just decimate it, clear away, deny much of that farm as they can. Wow.
Yeah, so, not to be a pessimist, but that was an absolutely amazing play from Northville. However, Samira only got 2 of the kills and Garen got the other 3. I think, it definitely puts Garen back into the game. I kind of was on the mark where I said he needed to wait till like 25 minutes. So, that puts him back in the game, but I mean, Garen can be a very scary champion with gold, so we can see potentially how that goes, but Samira got 2 kills there. That was a nice team fight for them. But overall, I think, like I said, very, very good for uh, Northville. If they were able to steal the Baron, I think it could have been like just the best. A lot of gold for just killing Baron, and then you're able to get towers. Because at the moment, Northville has 0 towers, so they need to play a bit of the objective game. Send Garen into a side lane, hopefully try to get some split pushing off. Or Samira, I think that's also a good option. Solo experience and solo gold. But gonna see what happens here in the next, few minutes, as the dragon should be coming up soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now that was a huge turnaround play for Northville. A lot of gold going over to pretty important members here. We see Garrett before that fight, he only had components. After that fight, he has both his mythic completed as well as a dead man's plate. He was sitting on a ton of gold after that fight. That is definitely going to be a huge turnaround around point for him. He's going to be able to just dive in onto the very squishy bot lane on Seaholm. And so that's going to be very, very scary here as we get later on with a ton of CC being followed up from the Alistar. If he's able to get these 2-3-man knockups in these fights like he's been doing so far, this game could be turned around very, very quickly here.
Yeah.
Now, Seaholm really should have backed up after that. They were first forced off of that Baron on the first rotation. While, yes, Northville is very low, as we clearly saw, fighting in a very small Baron pit with all of their AoE is not something that Seaholm wants to get caught out in doing. If you get stuck in a Nunu ultimate followed by Morgana ultimate, that is a ton of CC, a ton of damage being locked up
Here
between
comes
the
a
two.
5-point.
Again, so this is a very small space. You do not want to be all stacked up in one bush
Oh, here
against
it
an
comes.
Alistar.
Here it
So this
comes.
could be very dangerous. Now, they don't have vision. Oh, they know somehow, though. All right, there is a ton of damage. Alistar getting a huge knockup, but there's no damage there to follow that up as well. All right, and then you can see they're going to try and chase them down here. Okay, well, it looks like I was wrong. Morgana did blind check the bush with her Q, although that is not going to be enough to disrupt any kind of Scion Q, and that does not grant her vision of the Scion Q either. So they still walked forward and walked right into that, getting knocked up. And even with Morgana flashing out, Diana was still able to dive in and take her out. That is going to be the third dragon going over onto Seaholm as well. If they have a third mountain dragon here, that's going to be increasing their resistance stats by quite a lot. Scion, if he's not already, is going to become an unkillable monster with these extra stats being added on, as well as the Olaf is only going to get strong from here as well as he continues to just build more and more resistance stats, just trying to stay alive in these fights as the game goes on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Olaf. The reason Olaf falls off is like normally he starts getting bursted down, takes a lot of damage, can't really run into the fight. But like it's kind of just like counteracted here due to Northville's team comp. I think it's officially mid/late game now. People are starting to get 3+ items, so um, there's no way to stop the Olaf. Olaf says your 80 carries there. There's no stopping it. I'm killing your 80 carry. So um, I think the best way is just to bait out the Olaf ultimate in some kind of pick potentially, and then Olaf with no ult is a lot easier to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not sure. It's going to be very hard to try and be picking in this stage of the game. Morgana, absolutely. Morgana Alistar has a lot of pick potential here, but Seaholm should really not be. They had this very strong lead, a 10K gold lead already. They do not need to be, making very risky plays, looking for a very aggressive jungle positionings to try and get these picks in the first place or get caught out, right? If they just play it safe and are grouping up, they should be able to end this game very well here. They just need to be waiting on these objective timers to be coming up. We're gonna have Baron spawning here in about a minute or so, and where you see a lot of pressure being focused here. Sion focusing pressure in the bot lane, trying to drag them away. We're going to see maybe a pick being caught out here, very aggressive, to try and get some vision control. There was only 2 members of Seaholm versus 3 there. That definitely could have been very, very scary if they were to dive in. Although we do have the Sion teleport up, and so we're going to see him back. But Garen is forced to match this bot lane push. Otherwise, he's going to miss out on a ton of golden experience there. Nunu being forced away here. There's that ultimate coming through. There's a Sion TP. 3-man knockup, followed by another knockup. Ton of CC coming down from the Sion. That's going to be a Diana ultimate ing, as well as the Samira combo. Wow, they got forced into the choke point here in the small bush. That's going to be an ace for Seaholm.
Wow, that was that Olaf ult kind of looked a little desperate because he wasn't getting onto the backline, but chasing them into the Sion, he was able to get a 3-man ultimate. That was huge. And then you got the 3-man Seraphine ultimate, and it just became a CC chain that was, unavoidable. So really good from Seaholm. They're going to go ahead and end out. This is going to be game 1 of Seaholm versus Northville Junior Varsity. And, yeah, very good game for both teams. I honestly think Northville did very well considering their comp. The Olaf just was able to snowball from the early game. And there's not much you can do against that. You can't peel an Olaf, especially with your team comp, but yeah, GG's to both team, and we'll be going over to game 2, and we'll be right back.
We'll never forget the past, but what counts is our brand new start. Even if it hurts me or I get scared, just come take this risk now. We'll be prepared. I run away. I run away. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Keeping secrets there, keep them everywhere. Just you and I run away. It's been a roller coaster, but you stayed. And now I'm taking over for the day. 'Cause I can be what you wanna be. And I can feel but you lie for me. Take me to a place I'm calling for. Open up the doors I'm knocking on. I'm losing control. Be the one to leave my fantasy. Show you, baby, your hands all over me. No, I'll never let go. 'Cause now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for you. 'Cause now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for love. Now I'm falling for you. And I'm losing my mind for the days. 'Cause you and I will never fade. And I could be what you wanna be. And I can feel but you lie for me. Take me to a place I'm calling for. Open up the doors I'm
Excuse me. And we're back. Game number 2. Well, I guess you could say pro draft number 2. Joined by Mike, a former player and student of Seaholm. I'm excited. I think that although it looked a little stompy, I think it was a great game from both teams. Excited to see what Seaholm's pick next. I expect it's going to be some kind of protect the carry slash dive or run at you comp. Um, and I'm interested to see how Northville JV is going to combat that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be interesting here. Now, I think that these are very respectable bands coming out from Northville. It's both the Rengar and the Olaf band, as well as the Valleybear. Valleybear is a very dominant top laner for Seaholm, like we saw said in the first picks and bans as well. Uh, Absolutely, absolute monster. The Scion performed very well. However, a Valleybear has a lot more kill potential and even more dive potential. So both Valleybear and Olaf, fantastic things to ban away here. And I think they honestly should probably use the other two
Ooh,
bans
fiddlesticks.
onto the jungle as well if the jungle is not picked up in the first round here for CM. The Fiddlesticks is a very interesting pick. Um,
Is it just the run back for Seaholm? Like, I'm pretty sure those are the same bands and they're for excuse me, same like first two picks. I mean, it's kind of except for the jungles. Looks like okay. I was gonna say it's looking like a little bit of a run back, but
I do believe Seaholm banned Relaway in the first set,
yeah.
and banned the Nautilus and into the second round. So I do like that the Rel is being picked up here over the Nautilus for Northville. The Alistar was very effective, and Rel does a lot of things that Alistar can do, even a little bit better. She has a nice dash in with a huge potentially knockup as well, and then her ultimate is able to pull everybody back in. So that's the Rel Samira is a fantastic combo. A lot of CC to stack off with the Samira passive. Fiddlesticks is going to have a lot of CC and area effect damage of his own. A very strong AoE comp again coming out from Northville here. So hopefully CM is going to be able to play a little bit safer with the Seraphine Sivir. Definitely going to be a very volatile lane. With Rel having such strong dive potential and hard CC, Seaholm's have to play very safe if they're not going to get picked away in his bot lane. The Morgana ban coming out from the mid lane here, and a Galio ban. Interesting. Northville taking another ban onto the Fizz, as well as a Graves ban. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. You definitely need to try and ban away a lot of these stronger, hard carry junglers from Kaiser, as he's such a strong member of Seaholm. And as we saw in the last game, can be an extremely dominant, especially if you allow him to get ahead on a snowballing champion. So I'll be interested to see who Kaiser decides to pick up here, as well as who our mid lane is going to be picking out
I was gonna say
after the Fizz ban.
the big brain play would be Seraphine mid and just counterpick the role of Alistar. That would be the big brain play, but and it could still potentially happen. I think Seaholm's comp is so scary. Oh man, like look at it. The Silver Seraphine, like it's just run it. It's just engage. It's just straight up engage. But I mean, on the opposing time, Northville, Wombo combo, Fiddle, Yasuo, and Rel, and Samira, still very, very scary in their own right. I think this is gonna be a bloody game. Look at their team comps.
Okay, so we're gonna see the Kiana, a very 80 heavy comp over on Seaholm, with the exception of the Gragas. Gragas is gonna be able to do a ton of magic damage as these games go on. I suspect the Gragas, if he is able to get ahead, he's gonna be doing a ton of damage. Now, unlike the last game, right? Olaf's main point was to try and just run down the Samira and just stay alive, sustain her damage, absorb a lot of it while doing a ton back to her as well. Now, the opposite is true for this. I'm sorry, not Olaf. Gragas with his EQ, with his barrels coming out, tons of burst damage. He's going to be one-shotting the Samira into these mid to late games. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she's going to be able to stay alive in these kind of fights. If she is able to survive Gragas' initial burst and able to sustain it back up with something like a shield bow as well as a conqueror and then a lot of her healing, definitely be very scary if the Samira is able to get ahead, especially now with a bit of a stronger pick with the Rel over the Alistar in the bot lane. So we'll have to see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, both teams kind of got the wombo. If any either team, I mean, Northville's team doesn't really have to be caught in some kind of corridor. But if you're like if you're Seaholm and you get any kind of fight in the jungle, it's just scary. Like it's really hard to dodge Seraphine, especially with you have terrain in your way, and then the Kiana ult, the Seraphine ult, the Gragas ult. It's just scary. Um, but I do like Northville's team comp. They kind of got the wombo combo going on here. It's gonna I think it's gonna be a little bit of a passive early game from Northville. Fiddle can't really do much early, not much kill pressure. Um, I think top lane's gonna be a little bit different as well this game. Sion into Mordekaiser. I think the Mordekaiser's just gonna be reverse in my opinion. Mordecai just shreds tanks and takes no damage and is just OP. I think it's a really strong champion, especially into tanks.
Yeah, no, his ultimate is actually it's definitely one of his best abilities into tank like champions because he's able to steal so much of their core stats. Not only does it make him a lot beefier, it makes his opponent weaker, and that is the key thing there, right? So as Sion is gonna be building a lot of resistances to trying to survive against the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser says, "Well, thank you very much. I'll take some of those," and then he's gonna be able to just dominate and do a ton of damage back onto the Sion. And the other thing is, if you see Sion alting, Mordekaiser is not going to be able to ult him back because Sion is unstoppable. And so the Mordekaiser ult will just be absorbed in that situation. So I'm not sure exactly how the Mordekaiser ult is going to be played out here in these fights. He's absolutely going to be able to kill a Seraphine or a Sivir if he pulls either one of them into his death realm. Although if he pulls in the Gragas, I think he could be up for a quite interesting fight if he does not find an early game advantage here.
Is that how
The
the
Yasuo.
Sion Mordekaiser ult works?
Sorry.
Is that how the
How?
interaction works if you alting
Yep.
with Sion and
While Sion is moving, he is
I
unstoppable.
know
The
it's
only thing.
unstoppable, but the ult doesn't go off for Mordekaiser. That's weird.
Yeah, no, well, the Mordekaiser ult is it's considered a form of hard CC. You can QSS out of a Mordekaiser ult. It's the same way you can out of a Malzahar ult or a Skarner ultimate. And so if you were trying to ult a Mordekaiser as Mordekaiser, if you try an ult an unstoppable target, you can't stop them with any form of CC and bring them into the death realm with you. Instead, you're just going to be able to completely ignore it, and the ult, I believe, goes on cooldown in that situation. So if you see a Sion running at your team, you can't try and tank him with an ultimate. You can only be able to tank him after the fact, after he stops moving. So definitely going to be interesting as we transition into the late game team fights. What role Mordekaiser is going to play? He does have certainly a lot of assassination ability between killing any of these squishy champions mid or bot lane. But aside from that, it's definitely gonna be interesting. As a lot of their damage is gonna be the wombo between Fiddlesticks AOE, a Yasuo Nakama Ultimate, a Samira AOE, and Rel. So it will certainly be interesting to see as we transition here into the game after this delay.
Yep, we'll be right back after the 2-minute spectator delay, so stay tuned for that.
Saw you walking through the door. You're not the same baby that I once knew. It's like I don't know you anymore. I feel the haze washing over you and me. Like flight inside the clouds. Sometimes the rain leaves as quickly as it stormed in. Looks like the worst is over
we're back. Looks like we have the same bug for the scoreboard. It's not considered the scoreboard. I guess it technically is, I think, in the client, but not able to see the sports. A little bit unfortunate, but sign with Ignite again. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it worked out very well in the last game. So if it ain't, fix it. Now we see again a very early aggressive ward
Wow, he
over
just
on
got that
Kaiser.
for free. He just walked up and they didn't even stop him.
Yeah, I mean last time he got it pretty much for free too. He got a couple of auto attacks in against that Olaf, but just like before, he just walks away no problem. And we see a pink horde coming out denying that vision, which that's definitely interesting. We know Fiddlesticks is not required to need very many potions, as he has got such great sustain with his draining in the jungle here. Although I think it's pretty clear that he's going to be starting the blue buff, especially after dropping that pink and clearing it away. Although Seaholm doesn't know for sure, and so that's definitely a nice advantage they were able to pick up by being able to take advantage of being able to start with the control word on the Fiddlesticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see certainly how this top lane matchup goes. I think you're right, and it's Mordekaiser definitely has a lot more kill potential against this Scion than anything like a Garen would. So I like to pick a lot more than Garen. So, but we'll have to see how it ends up playing out. I suspect, especially with a bot lane start from Kaiser here, that he's going to be transitioning into probably an early gank top lane as well. Mordekaiser does not have any kind of real escape abilities, and so he's very susceptible in the early game.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited for this game actually. I was gonna say Fiddlesticks kind of getting a little low there in the jungle. Looks like he started wolves, so he can then double tank both blue and Gromp. Just saves a little bit of time. Yeah, both junglers starting on opposite sides of the map. Very interesting. So I'm guessing the Fiddlesticks doesn't want to be caught up or anywhere close to the Gragas, or try to put some pressure on bot lane, or I'm not quite sure. Generally, you see junglers start bot and just clear their way to top, but interesting.
Yep. So since Fiddlesticks doesn't really require much of a leash at all, and he can do so many different kind of camps at once, using that drain ability over the wall, definitely very strong. Now we see the early level 2 advantage for Northville here, diving in, getting a ton of damage off onto the Seraphine, unable to quite pick up that kill as the lane is being shoved in pretty dramatically towards that tower there.
Yep.
A little bit better wave control, and they could have potentially turned that into an early kill, although they're just pushing them in so deep under tower. And now if Seaholm plays as well, they could freeze this wave and play very safe and just focus on getting last hits. And it's going to be very hard, especially in the early game, to try and force that under tower these early waves.
Okay.
A little bit caught out here, even though they had a ward in that bush. A lot of damage going over to the rel to pick up a early Dark Harvest stack for the Silver, getting your late game scaling up a little bit. Now, Seraphine's got to be very careful here. The flash is on cooldown, although rel's flash ignite is also on cooldown here. They just want to play it safe, try and just use some abilities from a distance, try and heal back up over time, and you really do not want to get caught out here at all.
Yep.
Rel is a very tanky champion, especially in the early game with her Aftershock. We're going to see maybe an early game coming out from the mid lane here. We're going to see Kiana diving in. Yasuo using flash there. Definitely he got very, very scared of that Kiana diving in. With that flash down, he's going to be very susceptible to ganks in the future.
I don't think flash was needed there. The Gragas looked like he had turned around and was like, okay, and nothing was going to happen from this. But looks like it's not quite what we thought in terms of top lane. This might be a dead Yasuo.
Yep, that is me, dead Yasuo. The ignite going down, easily able to pick up the kill. Now, huge mistake from the Mordekaiser here. There's an absolute massive wave crashing under tower, and if you auto attack that Scion as he comes in under tower early game, that all those minions switch from hitting the tower to hitting you instead. And in the early game, that is so much damage that's gonna be coming in from those minions. You cannot tank that under tower. And followed up with the ignite advantage from Scion, he is easily able to pick up this kill. Now, if Mordekaiser had to remember that he does have flash advantage permanently all game, he actually might have been able to outplay that, flashing away or one of those last-minute Qs under tower could have potentially saved him his life there, as they did trade 1-for-1. The early Executioner is being picked up from the Scion, which is definitely a very good play against a Conqueror, a champion with a lot of healing in his kit from his W and the shield there. That's a very good pick. And we see the tier coming out, the trademark tier from the last game that served him very well into another manaless lane. I like this, the Scion play, very strong.
Yeah. So, looks like bit of a roam, just walking at the Kiana. Okay. Um, Yasuo's not even 6 yet. They might just look like they might just be able to turn this around. Yasuo's gonna go up for this. Never mind.
Oh, he tried it, or Gragas eat over the wall, but he did not connect. It didn't go through. That was sad.
Yeah, looks like Northville's just gonna
aside
be
from
able
that,
to pick up Dragon here. First Dragon again. Just like in
yep.
game number 1.
Yeah, definitely the Dragons have to be a win con here, absolutely. Now that roam was actually a pretty big mistake, I think, from the Mordekaiser. His wave, because the Sign was able to crash that prior wave under the tower, a lot of that wave was pushing back in towards Seaholm side. Now Scion did just shove it back at him, again forcing another tower, but if a little bit of better wave management, and the Mordekaiser could have been denied a wave or a wave and a half of experience, and in this early game, that's we already see a 1 level advantage for the Scion, but that can be very dangerous, especially in the top lane matchup where it's very 1v1 heavy.
No, this Gragas is so aggressive. Just, completely just counter jungling the Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks, well, they're still quite even on farm, but I mean, any camps you take away from the enemy is always good. I think this Fiddlesticks just need to kind of power farm until 6, and then just look for a gank. I think just run it down bot. Same plan as the last game. Just run it bot. Get your bot lane fed. Get them snowballing, and then boom. That's just an easy win con, and it's a lot easily executed this game compared to when you had the Olaf running at your 80 carry last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what we've seen so far, Northville's bot lane has been playing very aggressively, almost constantly being shoved under, or shoving Seaholm under their tower. If Fiddlesticks is able to recognize this and take advantage of that, as soon as he hits level 6, he could easily just walk down lane and get into one of these further bushes, or even into the alcove there, and is able to get a nice ultimate even under the tower. They could do a lot of damage with a ton of CC. Now again, with Ignite being off cooldown, looking for an early dive, getting a little bit of healing, there's the flash fear coming out from the Fiddlesticks, and Scion is gonna fall there.
Yeah, so that's... I think that the Scion should have just committed to that kill. Committed, die 1-for-1 again, because there was 2 waves under tower there. But instead, you died... I mean, you still died. I don't know why he just didn't commit. Like, I thought he saw the Fiddlesticks and he was just gonna try to live, but I think you just die, commit, get 1-for-1 again, and deny yet again more gold and experience. But Sion's 2-1 now, or excuse me, the Mordekaiser's 2-1 now. So really good for the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, that did not quite work out as well as the last thing. Mordekaiser was not quite as low, and now that we're a little bit later in the game, we're gonna see a bit of a fight going down. Kiana ulting in, Scion getting the knock-up counter ult. All right, and then there is going to be the wind wall blocking the Gragas Q, which would have been an easy kill over the Gragas. Now Gragas with the phase rush is going to just keep trying to running him down, getting that bit of a slam there, getting knocked up. Now flashing the second Q. He's going to walk into a Fiddlesticks here. There's the ultimate coming down, which canceled the Fiddlesticks ultimate as well. Wow, he did not even know Fiddlesticks was in that bush, but he was just used the ult to pick up the kill over onto the Yasuo.
Yeah, that was it was good from the Kiana. A nice little bait there. Yasuo played it very well. Unfortunately, can't really run away from the Gragas. But yeah, I think this is a much closer game than last. Only 1 kill difference, about a 1k gold difference. I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's still early, but yeah. Excited to see how this goes towards the mid game. I'm excited to see how this top lane turns out. Once Mordekaiser gets his what is it, Omni Riftmaker thing with the Omni Vamp, I think it's gonna be a lot easier for him to fight the Scion. I think he's already, like I said, doing a lot better than the Garen Sion matchup, so that's already a plus.
Yeah. At this point in the game, I would see a little bit of a skirmish here. I don't think this should be a kill. Okay, yeah, no, they're just gonna back it off. But yeah, at this point in the game, as we saw with that dive, once Mordekaiser had that blasting wand and he has his W, you use that shielding that you get a ton of healing. You cannot dive him easily. Sion died, and he would have died in the 1v1 situation, regardless of whether Fiddlesticks showed up at all, because Mordekaiser still had ultimate available. If he just wanted to ult the Sion under tower, he would have stolen a lot of his HP, would have made himself a lot beefier, and Sion would have been taking a lot of damage that he could not have gotten away from, even with his phase rush under tower. So it'd be very, very dangerous to be diving at Mordekaiser at any stage of the game unless he's very, very low, because you do not want to get stuck into his ultimate under tower.
Definitely not.
Um,
And another dragon coming up. Looks like it's probably just going to be a trade of objectives. As the Gragas is on Herald, Fiddlesticks is bot. He should just instantly go and take that. So looks like they're going to start that up now. That's really good for Northville. That's going to be their second dragon secured. And hopefully, I think Ocean Soul, again, is going to be good.
Okay, we see the flash coming out here, and they're gonna look to dive this guy. The Gragas ult missing. We do see the Rift Herald coming down, which is gonna be able to tank this tower a little bit for them. And then there's the ultimate I was talking about, giving him quite a bit of HP here. Now there's you have to try and play it very safe here. There's the ult wearing off. Gragas is able to join this fight now, doing a little bit of damage, missing the Q, just holding onto it for a little bit too long, and giving the kill over onto the Scion there. There we go. That definitely play took a little bit longer than anticipated, but yeah, like I said, that Scion was not able just to fully 100% dive the Mordekaiser, and he shouldn't be able to at this point in the game, especially as we're going to be seeing the Riftmaker being completed here pretty soon, which is going to give him a ton of survivability and that just a little bit extra true damage into this lane after he gets that stacked up with his passive.
Yeah, that was actually almost really well played by the Mordekaiser there. He almost kind of turned it. I think if he lived maybe another 2 seconds and get a few more shots off while they were diving him, that could have been really huge for the Mordekaiser because he almost 2v1. That ultimate I think was very good. That stalled it out. They didn't just instantly dive him, but fortunately, you're kind of at a disadvantage when it's a 2v1, especially when they have a Herald play and you're already low from being poked out by the Scion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Fiddlestick's doing a pretty good job so far. He has not had very many successful ganks going down here, especially with him losing that early ultimate cooldown in the top lane, or the mid lane play, trying to save the Yasuo's life. And he is a component versus a completed mythic over on Gragas' side here. I wonder if he's sitting with a lot of gold in his pocket, because the farm actually favors the Fiddlesticks. If he does have, I believe he's going to be building a proto belt this game. If he does have that proto belt available, he needs to go back and buy that right now. It has such a great ability with his ultimate, and he could be making plays all over the map here. He could be looking, if Seaholm pushes in bot lane, he could be looking to ult over the thick wall by Tribush to make a big play, or he could be looking top lane just like this, and just like that, just gonna ult and run away, no problem there.
Yep.
Now, so. A little bit, I think, mispositioning there from the Fiddlesticks. He looked to try and cut off the escape towards the tower, but then Science said, "Oh, that's okay. I'll take the exit ramp instead and bring down river." So he was not able to quite pick up that kill. But like I said, I think Fiddlesticks should be focusing more on bot lane here. If this Samira is able to get a much more dominant advantage, then that is going to be the win con here. Now, looks like a big dive coming out.
Oh my God.
Wow. Big combo, both ultimates coming from both the mid lane and the jungler over on Seaholm's side. That was a lot of CC. The Gragas ult was about to shove him really far away, but the counter said, no, and then threw him into the tower instead. Ton of damage coming down from both those champions. Very well played, picking up a kill over onto the Yasuo.
Here it is.
This is the play I was talking about, ulting up over that wall. There it is, tons of damage coming out. Seaholm cannot find themselves in these extended positions without vision in that tri-bush. Only gonna be one kill, although as bad as both summoners off of the Seaholm Sivir, using both flash and heal. Now those are not gonna be up, and we're gonna see. It looks like another gank trying to come down here in the top lane.
I don't think they're gonna be able to. Oh, there's no tower. Never mind.
There's no tower, although here we see the ultimate with the Riftmaker completed. He's going to be getting a lot of healing here. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. This is what I was talking about, stealing so many of those core stats, not quite able to finish it, as we do have a few more items, a bit more of a gold advantage over onto the Scion, and Gragas is going to be able to pick up and finish off that kill. Wow, that was very, very close to being a one-for-one trade.
I honestly think
Mordekaiser just had boots and a little bit more move speed, he could have followed up and chased that Scion. That was very, very close.
I honestly think if the Mordekaiser kills, well, I guess there's the Scion passive. I was gonna say if the Mordekaiser is able to kill the Scion, I'm pretty sure he 2v1 potentially. But unfortunately that didn't happen. But yeah, one item Mordekaiser is so scary. Like you saw, like he was just getting bullied around by the Scion before he had Riftmaker. Completes Riftmaker and just almost able to 2v1. That's champions very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely can dominate a lot of these tankier lane matchups. Now, Seaholm is going to be looking to try and finally get some bot lane prio here as Dragon is spawning. We do see both the TP and the ultimate are going to be coming up very shortly here for the Scion. So he is going to be able to join these plays if he wanted to be in the side lane, but instead he's just going to help secure this. They do not want to give a third Dragon over and get soul point being picked away from them this early in the game. So they're going to have a full 5-man on this Dragon. We see 2 members of Seaholm over the wall, kind of double checking, saying, all right, no. This one's ours. You guys just got to back up and try and play it safe. As we see 3 members of Northville over on the top side of the map. They want to try and contest that.
I don't know. I think they should just commit it. You had, look, like, you had everything up almost, you know? Like, that could have been a really, really good team fight for Northville. You had the Fiddle ult, you had the Yasuo ult, you had everything from your bot lane, well, the ult from your bot lane, but they really didn't do anything. This is just unfortunate again.
All right. Oh, we're gonna see the big Seraphine now coming down. The exhaust being dropped onto the Samira. Samira dropping her heal, and they're have to being forced to back off. A lot of damage coming out on both 80 carries. Rel still quite healthy, and overall, as the, we're gonna start extending this fight, we're gonna see a little bit of healing coming out from the Seraphine, going to be able to get Sivir back up to a little bit HP. But yeah, both ultimates coming down, bit of a skirmish, no kills surprisingly in the bot lane so far in 1v1 situations, only with a little bit of jungle assistance has anything been able to happen so far. Both bot lanes playing very safe and just trying to farm and scale as best they can.
Yep.
Now, there's the spell shield. Very well played there. The stun still able to go down, dropping the ignite. That's not going to be quite enough to finish off. Leaving Sivir very, very low on HP, though. Unfortunately, there is no objective in the bot lane to contest. Sivir walking back to base almost, very scared of any kind of counterplay. Not quite able to locate where that Fiddlesticks was in that fight.
Yeah. Looks like you may have play River. But
yes, Seraphine could be getting caught out here if she looks to try and get too many aggressive wards without any kind of support, although it looks like they're going to back up. Mordekaiser is going to be yoinking that blue buff away from the Fiddlesticks, which is interesting.
I was gonna say, why is the manaless champion taking the blue buff? But
I mean, so far, Mordekaiser is the strongest member for Northville, and so they may be looking to try and just put as much gold as possible, or perhaps Fiddlesticks says, "Hey, on bot side, I haven't gotten a blue buff yet. Gragas keeps stealing it." And Mordekaiser, that's okay. I got this one. Don't you worry about it. So the gold is at least going over to Northville instead of getting triple buffed by Gragas.
Yep, looks like they're trying to bait something here. If the Yasuo gets picked out, I think that's just going to be a tower for mid, because, they have Herald, and there's 3 people hovering here. Looks like they're just looking for a bait. There's both top, mid, and jungle for both teams hovering around. Both teams looking to do something. Nothing doesn't look like... Oh, doesn't look like anything's going to happen.
Just stopping that back on repeat. A little bit of just exchanging of abilities there. Nothing really going down. Both just kind of wasting each other's time. Okay, yeah, they wanted to dive that Yasuo so bad, but it is so hard for a Gragas to get on top of a Yasuo. Ideally, Gragas would like to just do dive in and drop a barrel behind him using that ultimate to try and force him forward into the lane, although he's only going to be unable to do that. Now we're going to see the ultimate coming down from the Mordekaiser, missing his first E, but getting the Q down, big shield coming out, and then there's going to be the Fiddlesticks able to follow that up. Very well played. The shutdown going over to the Fiddlesticks. That's going to be a lot of gold. Now they're going to be careful. The Cyan is going to do a lot of damage after his death, not quite able to finish either one of them off and go 1-for-1. Great play by Northville there, using the Mordekaiser ult as a form of CC to try and hold that Cyan in. He was unable to ult away there. We see the Rel flashing in, getting the ultimate, trying to pull that in. A counterplay in the top lane. Gragas using his ultimate able to pick this up. That could be a double kill for the Gragas. He's got a ton of move speed from the phase rush, flashing forward, getting the E and barrel with the auto attack, doing a ton of damage. Wow.
That was a spicy play by the Gragas.
Very nicely played by the Gragas, picking up the 2v1 kill there. All right, and we're going to see the TP coming in from the Scion as well. He's going to be looking easily to pick up this kill. The Rel super extended there. Now, Scion is going to be looking to turn his sights onto the Samira, using his ultimate to get that knockup, getting followed up by a Q knockup. They're going to easily dive this tower as well, forcing the flash away onto the Samira. Heal still available, but Scion at this point, super tanky. With that Sunfire Cape and Giant's Belt, he's going to be able to absorb a ton of damage from these towers and completely ignore them in this early game, especially with his own W shield as well.
Yeah, so it's just I'm just thinking about it. You think, Rel Samira should just dump on anything, but it's so annoying to play against Sivir Seraphine because you can never ever get anything done. I just keep seeing it and I'm just like, why doesn't the Rel just go in? Why doesn't the Rel just go get anything? And they can't. The Rel can't do anything because you try to go in, you have to go through Spell Shield, you have to go through Exhaust, you have to go through the healing and the shielding from the support, and there's just nothing they can do. It turned an aggressive lane into just a passive lane, which is unfortunate. I think that after seeing this for, the first 10 minutes, even 5-6 minutes of the game, that the the Rel should have just tried to roam mid. I think Rel roams are definitely scary.
Yep, we're going to see the Rift Herald coming down, being popped from Seaholm. Looks like he should be able to get one charge off here, no problem, but it looks like he's going to fall, not quite able to finish that tower. Fiddlesticks ulting in to try and disengage. Gragas ulting the Fiddlesticks back into his team. Looks like they're going to be diving in, trying to pick up the kill. A lot of damage coming down. There's the Kiana ult into the tower there. Mordekaiser ulted I believe the Scion into trying to pick his kill up as well. Rel should be falling there as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the ultimate over onto the Seraphine. Not quite able to. Oh, I take it back. Able to pick up that kill with the last minute EQ combo there.
That was actually really good for Northville. It almost turned out to be an insane play. If they had a little bit more coordination, that Fiddlesticks ult was a little troll. But overall, really good for Northville. Playing completely different than the last game, and now they're gonna pick up this mid turret. But this honestly, I think is just an even game. The Mordekaiser and the Yasuo were able to put in a lot of work there, and I honestly think that Northville's team skills way better, right? Sion is just like late game is just gonna be a CC and meat shield, right? And you have the Mordekaiser that can kill him. You're gonna have the Yasuo that can kill him. Fiddlesticks, I don't think they can kill it. I think they just sit there and attack each other because they both just sit there and take no damage. But yeah, I think once Yasuo gets 3 items, it's gonna be scary. He's sitting at that Immortal Shield Boat IE. All he has to pick up now is a Last Whisperer, and he's just gonna shred through the tanks and just do incredible amounts of damage.
Yeah, that fight was definitely very aggressive there. After they saw the Fiddlesticks ultimate and the Gragas ulted him forward, which is very strong, they looked to get a little bit too greedy there and try and dive it in, over-anticipating a lot of their damage. Now, this should be a kill over onto the Scion, although Fiddlesticks backs up thinking that he was able to ult away there, but the angle is not quite right. We see the Mordekaiser ult coming down, which is going to restrain him in place here. Fiddlesticks should be looking to follow it up. We see 4 members of Northville in the top lane here. as they all are able to focus around, and they're easily able to pick up the Scion, as he was certainly overextended there without any kind of real vision in the jungle. Great job. This is exactly what Northville needs to do to get back into this game. Just walking around, picking up these kills, and getting gold under their essential members. The Mordekaiser here is going to become a very strong monster as this game goes on. Sivir, we're going to see a Fiddlesticks ulting over the wall, actually. Going to be able to, again, picking up another kill as even bot lane was out of position here. Kiana, again, overextended. This could be getting very dangerous for them. Looks like they're going to try and pick up a kill over onto the Kaiser's Gragas here as well. Although he's going to be a little bit too slippery for them, as he's just able to E over these walls and kind of just walk out, no problem. But Seaholm needs to be backing it up here. Looks like they're going to maybe try and make a play happen. So you see the TP from the Scion getting called in. It just looks like they're going to try and back it off. A little bit maybe too dangerous, too risky for them to try and dive this tower. Now we do see two members being picked off here. Both the bot lane members from Northville being picked away and taken out. Now they're going to be looking over, turning their sights over to the Mordekaiser and to the Fiddlesticks. And those both Mordekaiser and Fiddlesticks falling as well. Wow, we went from a super well and working together team fight in the mid lane to just being picked off two at a time. Now they're picking the Baron. They're going to run and try and pick that up after a near ace on Northville. And this should not be contested at all.
I don't know what they were doing, because it's like, okay. Like, first it was like, okay, you got the TP out, and you should just instantly disengage from the Scion. And it's a little bit unfortunate. The Scion caused them to pick up 2 kills, but, like, the Mordekaiser and Fiddle there should have just backed off. Like, there was no reason to, like, even walk. They should have walked right up the river and then just, like, recall. Because, look, now you just gave over Baron and Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. So, what did that result in? You just lost Baron, and now you're potentially just going to lose Dragon unless, looks like it's probably going to be another big fight. They're not even, looks like, Seaholm's not even back, and they're just going to go over and pick up this Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this late in the game, all the ultimates are back up off cooldown, so there's no real disadvantage aside for summoners that they've been used. There's the Fiddlesticks ulting in, getting onto 3 members, doing a ton of damage. Now, yeah, being forced away. Now it's going to be a 2v5 fight for the rest of them. Seaholm being forced away. Very nice. You're going to see the Fiddlesticks does eventually fall there. Oh, Yasuo not able to get that tornado off. Would have easily been a couple kills. See, the Mordekaiser did shut down the Scion there. He's going to be joining this fight here very shortly, very strong. Taking that back, he's very low HP. It was a very close fight. Gragas diving in, doing a ton of damage, missing that barrel combo. Although Sivir said, don't worry, I got him. Throwing a quick boomerang over onto him, picking up that kill.
Yeah, that was again another unfortunate fight there for Northville. Not able to pick up, if they get the right targets. Yasuo not able to get his ult off. If he hit that double knock up there when he was right by the blue buff, I think that could have turned the play or turned the fight. So unfortunate there, but looking at this Gragas is huge. 8 kills. 2.5 items. Probably has 3 items on recall.
Yeah, he should. He definitely got a lot of gold there in that last fight, and as well, we see that Kiana is 5-1 as well. While we aren't talking about it a lot, she's doing a ton of damage in these fights, and she does have the Serpent's Fang, which is going to be very effective against a strong Mordekaiser as well as a Rel. They're going to be able to knock off a lot of these shields, and I mean the little shield that Yasuo is going to be getting as well, although he does be getting a much larger shield from his shield bow as well. So that item is going to be very effective and decimating a lot of these shields that are going to be coming out from these champions, which I like that. I like that item a lot. He's more of a supportive role here.
Oh my god.
Yasuo looks like he could be falling to a quick Gragas ult. Looks like they may just be conceding, or Yasuo perhaps disconnected. What? I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, just being picked off one by one here. Gragas all making Scion misses Q. And Fiddlesticks is going to be ulting in on a desperation play, trying to just pick them off and try and kill them all. Zanya's coming down a little bit too late. And that is going to be 4 kills down. The Mordekaiser disconnected. That is going to be the Yasuo disconnected. I believe that is a forfeit, perhaps.
I'm not sure what happened there. I was like, it's looking really good for for Seaholm, and I'm like, actually, it's looking really good for Northville. And then the Gragas started pressing buttons, and then health bar started disappearing. Oh my god! Like, look, oh my god, he went from 2.5 items to like and a component, and then he just straight up bought a Rabadons. What?
Yeah, yeah. I guess he got a little bit more gold than I even was expected. I'm sure he had quite a bit sitting in his pocket. 10-0-10 now on the Gragas. Great job here. He's got 20 KP out of their 26 kills so far. So that's fantastic. He's been very involved all around the map, applying a ton of pressure and really just helping his team get into the late game as soon as possible and just staying ahead and sticking their lead. Now, Cyan is getting very aggressive here with that short ultimate onto the Samira. And Gragas makes it very clear why he's allowed to be that aggressive. Absolutely diving and doing a ton of damage, taking these two champions out, no problem in the bot lane. Northville does have 2 members disconnected. We aren't seeing a pause, which makes me believe that they're probably not going to be coming back.
Question in the chat: can we get the KDA chart? It's a bug. I'm pretty sure I can't make it go any higher. I can't see the support. And it was the same thing for the last game. Like, I think if I go in and I press tab, like, yeah, nothing goes up for the supports. But that's gonna be Seaholm moving on to the semifinals, which is gonna happen tomorrow. Looks like they're just diving in. Yep. And that is gonna be GG for them. Give us a second while we see if we can get game 2 going. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah. Lions gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Sorry I kept you waiting forever and a day. But now we're out here together with nothing standing in our way. Can you feel the attraction? Feel the attraction. Can you feel it between us? This energy's inside us like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Feel the love running through like electricity. Like electricity.
Okay, we're back. A little bit of news. We're gonna go ahead and cut today short. Unfortunately, London had to forfeit, but we'll be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. We're gonna have the semifinals and finals. Let's just go. Let me bring up the brackets real quick. Okay, so we're gonna have Seaholm versus Detroit Catholic Central. I'm actually excited. I think that's gonna be really fun to watch and cast. And then we're gonna have Northville Varsity versus Troy High School. I think that's also gonna be another good match. I do want to, before I end the stream, let me bring up another window. I need to get 3 monitors. But I do want to talk about our sponsors. I just want to thank Lawrence Tech as always. And speaking of Lawrence Tech, we are recruiting for the fall season. If you're interested, you can always go to our website at LTU Athletics. Under recruiting, go to Esports, or you can send an email at esports@ltu.edu, or you can reach out to me on Discord, and I can forward that along to the head coach. We're looking for players in a multiple number of games, League, Overwatch, Valorant, CSGO, other games as well. So always reach out. But I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thanks everyone for coming out, and I'll talk to everyone tomorrow.